It's a beautiful fall day in Champaign, and fans are setting up their tailgate spots outside Memorial Stadium. As they heat up their grills, one stands out because it is powered by the sun.
Hello.
I'm Dave. What are you doing here?
Hi, I'm Matt. We're demonstrating our solar cooker project. These vessels store energy so that you can cook inside or I guess outside today. And they're charged with the sun with these parabolic dishes we have over there.
You don't have to have power sources, if you will, just harness the sun.
Yeah, we charge these buckets up with the sun and then you can bring them inside your house or you can cook outside and grill like we're doing here today.
Can I have a hot dog, please?
Yeah. Would you like it burned or not so burned?
Not so burned. Yeah, that one. How did you think that you wanted to make this kind of a cooker?
We really wanted to choose something that was sustainable, so we wanted to focus on the sun. And when we were researching, solar cooking, the big problem that we found out was people needed something that they could do at night when the sun wasn't available, and also bring inside their house.
This tastes like it was made on a real grill. So
This is a real grill for sure.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Cooking over an open flame is a fun activity at football games, but in many places around the world, it is a necessity. For 3 billion people on this planet, fire provides light, it cooks their food, and heats their homes. But it comes with a price. It leads to deforestation, atmosphere pollution, even death. One solution to this global cooking problem is being developed at the University of Illinois at Urbana Champaign under the direction of Professor Bruce Litchfield. This revolutionary solar cooking device, called a sun bucket, stores heat. The cooker charges in the sun for 2 hours, then maintains its heat for up to 8 hours without batteries or fuel.
The important thing for us is that it competes with fire. And so the cooking surface, once it's fully charged, can be in the neighborhood of 900 to 1,000 degrees F.
The team hopes their cooker will change the world, one fire at a time. Fire. It is essential to human existence. Over 1/3 of the Earth's population uses fire to cook their food and heat their home. The relationship of humans to fire is the life work of Illinois professor Tammy Bond.
The thing that I'm really interested in is understanding how humans work with energy and how that affects the environment, and then in turn that affects humans.
So please join me in welcoming Dr. Tammy Bond to the podium.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. How many pyromaniacs are here? How many? How many? Come on, you're lying. Lying! People love fire. Why? Because we became human at the time we lit fires and started to harness it.
Anthropologists define humans by when they find the first evidence of fire. Humans and fire are very closely associated, and we have a cultural need to see fire. And there are some people who think that it was the ability to cook your food that has made industrial development possible.
When humans burn fuel to create fire, there is a release of black carbon, or soot, which absorbs light and increases global temperatures. Bond's research tracks black carbon around the world and looks at what it does to our atmosphere. She was awarded a MacArthur Genius Grant for her work investigating the relationship between energy and climate change. She says one way of changing this dynamic is to encourage humans to cook with solar energy, but that is not so easy.
The use of solar energy is a challenge because the sun doesn't always shine when you want the energy. What Bruce is doing is creating a way to store the energy from the sun so you can use it when you want to.
Tammy Bond is a key member of the team as a principal investigator, and she really helps us understand the problem more deeply. She's spent a big portion of her career going around the world measuring actual emissions and understands what happens in households that are burning solids as a combustion for cooking. Spending over $100 billion a year on fuels, and that's especially pronounced on folks with low incomes.
In Litchfield's engineering class at Illinois, he challenges students to use their skills to solve societal problems. One issue they discussed was using solar cookers to alleviate the global cooking problem.
Because that's one part of the rub, right? You're all in this class together, you all read Weston, and you sort of give your...
Students wondered why they were not more popular.
What if you're with 3 other people? Learned about some failures in the past, of course. Solar cooking is not new, and by learning how other attempts to do solar cooking had failed, it gave us some important perspectives.
Some years ago, Dr. Charles Greeley Abbott, an enthusiastic pioneer in solar engines, designed this vacuum-jacketed boiler tube. On one of these cookers, an Indian family can cook its noonday meal with no heat other than the sun's heat.
Oh great, it's going to be a great solar cooking day. Ice actually works well in cold temperatures. When it's snowing, it is able to get up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's coming from the sun, from the rays. Homemade oven in a suitcase.
Key design goal was you don't have to stand outside in the middle of the day in the sun to cook. You don't have to cook inside of a tube or in some other convoluted way, in a box covered with a piece of glass, because people just don't cook that way. Early in the process, we talked to a lot of people.
Now I'm going to turn this. And
what that drove us to do was get out of the building, go talk to folks from all around the world. That way we understood the problem more deeply and understood what it was like to cook with solid fuels. So we learned from it this close coupling of cooking to human values and the notion that changing how you cook is a big ask.
And there's a lot of constraints that you don't understand that needs to be incorporated before you can recommend a solution. Parabolic dishes that catch the sun and then transmit into the pot. They make no emissions, they take no fuel, a no-brainer. Until you realize that people are going out into the fields before the sun comes up.
Our focus on this project has been on figuring out the vessel configuration that matches the cooking culture. This project is particularly important to me because in 2010 I visited my grandmother-in-law in Ecuador. I woke up in the morning and I walked into the kitchen and I walked into a cloud of smoke because she was cooking indoors on a wood fire.
Indoor smoke from solid fuels is one of the top 5 causes of premature death in the world. And it affects mainly women and children under 5.
Women and children around the world are the ones who must gather fuel for indoor fires, then tend them throughout the day. The smoke they breathe causes 4 million deaths a year.
We came up with a stored solar thermal energy solution. You can just bring it inside your home and cook like you were still cooking on a fire or like you're cooking on any other type of fuel source.
Early models were really a lot more complex, so we kept pushing towards simplifying, make sure it would be something that's robust in the field. And so this notion of simply having a concentrator and a way to store the concentrated energy that's portable and allows for storage were the key simplifications.
My role is the design and fabrication of the vessels. I've been working on this for about 3 years, figuring out the vessel configuration. I figured out how to make these work. I'm really glad I was able to work on a project like this. Sustainability has been a part of my life since I entered college. Our focus has been on storing the energy.
The sun bucket works by focusing the heat of the sun onto the cooking unit. Sealed inside the cooking unit is a thermal material that heats up and liquefies. After 2 hours, the unit can reach temperatures of up to 700 degrees, the same as a gas or electric stove. The outside surface of the unit is cool to the touch, so that users can remove it from the charger and take it inside. The hot liquid inside the vessel allows the vessel to maintain heat in the cooking unit for over 6 hours.
We had a lot of issues working with a few outside vendors. We hired 2 different vendors who failed to produce a functional vessel that could hold the salt. We ended up just working with the Illinois machine shop, and through a little bit of trial and error, we figured out a method to produce them ourselves so that they wouldn't leak salt and they'd be totally safe.
In order to test the sun bucket, the team uses the device to prepare a traditional meal in their lab at Illinois.
So today we're making red lentil dal, which is a meal you might find in India, and also some naan and roti.
So we wanted to do field testing in 2 different ways, both in Champaign, Urbana, and then also field testing, hopefully in other parts of the world where people are on a day-to-day basis cooking with some sort of solid fuel like wood.
We believe that if we can show that we can make several traditional meals, that we can get people to switch over to this new type of technology. And we ourselves can be confident that it's something that they'd want to use. But with this stored solar thermal technology, they can pull out one of our vessels in the morning, cook their breakfast, recharge during the day, and then come home and have heat to cook on.
Our role is to provide business advice in terms of how we might pursue commercialization of the technology once we've gotten it down to a point where we believe that it's feasible, it can be useful, tractable, and something that could be manufactured in volume.
Besides cooking single-family meals, the team wanted to know how the device performs when preparing meals for a large group. They put it to a test by cooking a Brazilian meal for over a dozen people gathered at the unique Prairie Glass House in Champaign, Illinois.
We're cooking Brazilian food tonight. Yeah, we have the feijoada going on back there, and over here we have some butternut squash, also very popular in Brazil.
Cooking Brazilian takes a lot of energy. We had 3 sun buckets going almost all the time. One of the benefits was just to see the thing in action. But to actually eat food that's been produced with it is a very personal experience.
After their initial cooking successes, the team was eager to test the device in the field. Litchfield and the team traveled to the Navajo Nation in Arizona so that families could test the sun buckets at their home.
My name is Morgan Yazzie, and we've been ranching out here. I've been working on dryland farming all our lives. As you can see out there, there's no trees of any kind out there.
This is the first site for us to set up our stored solar cooking system. We actually use a reflective dish that's an off-the-shelf product. But we retrofit it by making some changes to it. And this is the first time we've done the changes in the field. These are some key first users for us, and people we want to try this because they're often off-grid, they don't have power, they often cook with wood or other solid fuels.
I like technology, how it works. Wood is the way some of us cook. Propane costs a lot out here. Solar cooking, and yeah, something I'm interested in,
When it says 315 on the thermometer, it's time to take.
This solar cooker gives you a chance to cook in traditional ways using solar energy. Yesterday we met with a number of folks from here on the reservation who are interested in this, and about 5 or 6 of them signed up to be in the project. Sammy Lindgren, another student who's here with us on the team, Sammy's focusing on the behavioral change parts of it, what education needs to go into place in order to help people make the change.
Might cook things a lot faster, maybe. Get things cooking.
This is the first time I'm gonna be, cooking with anything solar.
Well, it sure beats chopping wood.
This is one way to save environment. It's a big issue. For me, it's a big issue, yeah.
Nearby at Navajo Technical University, the team had an opportunity to test the cookers in a commercial kitchen. This culinary arts class is taught by Chef Joe Chapa.
We came to know Chef Joe through his solar cooker project that he got a grant for at the EPA a couple of years ago. And we've slowly gotten to know Joe over the phone.
Really interested in solar cooking, solar ovens.
I work on the user-centered design aspect and product adoption. So how do we build something in the lab and then design it so that people will actually use it?
Making fried bread right now, so it has to be up there to 400 degrees. Bruce brought a solar collector that can get up to 600 degrees, which shocked me. This is the step in the right direction. Solar energy is our future, and so we need to learn a little bit about that and get the young people interested.
There are 700 million energy-impoverished people in the world, and they spend $100 billion a year for cooking fuel.
One misconception is that the energy impoverished don't have money to spend on things, and the truth is they do have some money to spend, especially if it's something that can save them money, not paying for fuel.
Packing up first sale, our shipment that's going to Bluffton, Indiana, and then on to Lakai, Haiti.
After completing several rounds of testing, the team formed an independent company to manufacture and sell the sun buckets for around $300 a unit.
After all these years of the R&D and thinking and dreaming, we're actually putting some stuff in a trailer and shipping it out. All right, here goes the last one in.
Sun Buckets made its first sale to a nonprofit group in Haiti. The company has been marketing the cookers to aid organizations as a way to cut fuel costs and help more people in need. With its abundant sunshine, Haiti is the perfect market for the solar cookers.
Haiti, it's a beautiful country, very tropical, wonderful vegetation, and really warm, friendly people.
Haiti is also the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Haitians must deal with a lack of infrastructure, low access to health care, and inadequate sanitation. They also spend 1/3 of their income on fuel.
We estimate it costs about $10 every 22 days as fuel for meals to feed a family. When you are in a country where most of the people are living on less than $2 a day, being able to find $10 to prepare meals as fuel for meals is difficult.
Litchfield travels from Lakai to the campus of Loving Shepherd Ministries, or LSM, to deliver the sun buckets.
The mission of Loving Shepherd Ministries is to help the world's most vulnerable children reach their God-given potential. Well, in these homes, you have 12 boys or girls where they have cooks and cleaning people, a mom and dad. They find a family here and go to school. It's an environment that is able to help them be children.
We got here midday and came right to the campus, unpacked. A lot of the kids on the campus pitched in, unpacked the sun buckets themselves. We had a lot of help here from LSM staff.
It's pretty straightforward. It's not as difficult as we thought it would be. As you can see, all of the kids are helping. We have a lot to do.
I think it's gonna be easier with all the help we're getting.
Yeah, we're here at the LSM campus to install our first larger scale system.
I have 6 homes that are using a lot of propane every day to cook the meals, and so it's a good combination of need for the product and entry for us into a new culture.
We're hoping to reduce our propane costs. It's a substantial amount of money.
We're looking at using every month 2 propane tanks per home. Close to $200 a month per home.
We have looked at other systems, but primarily we've been looking at the solar cookers just because of all the environmental reasons.
Yeah, they like to cook a lot, and they often need to cook a lot fast, but pretty simple meals and all things that are straightforward, and I think that we can do with this equipment. Yeah, I do like to spend time in the kitchens. I want to find out how they cook, what the quantities are that they use. Here they use some really big containers cooking for 12 kids and 2 parents. So it's just soaking in how they do it, the different utensils. If you're used to cooking with fire, this requires some adaptation. We're going to meet in a few minutes with everyone on campus, the cooks, the parents, the kids, and kind of go through the overall purpose. The sun can provide us lots of energy, power and heat. And then there'll be more intense training with specific operators, the person that's going to run the charging stations.
Soon the first sun buckets are charged, and it is time to try them in the kitchen. But as the cooks start to use the devices, they quickly notice some problems.
There is an issue with pots. In each of the homes in the kitchen, a few of these rounded bottom kettles that they cook on propane burner that's shaped like a bowl. And so cooking in those round bottom pots doesn't work with our flat surface sun buckets.
LSM decided to buy the cooks new pots so they would work easier with the cooking vessel. The pan needed to be flat so there was better contact to the hot surface of the charged device. But there was still another major problem. The cooks pointed out to Litchfield that they could not reach the cooking vessel to take it off the charger.
The charging and the cooking that's happening in the homes and the kitchens are 2 distinct operations.
Litchfield and the team from LSM decided to create a charging station that would be under the care of another LSM employee.
And then those will be delivered to the homes, and there the professional cook will take over the cooking part.
With these changes, the cooks in the LSM homes started using the sun buckets on a daily basis.
We're starting to adopt the solar cookers and save some costs on propane.
We wanted to get this in sunny places where people needed ways to cook without burning carbon-based fuel. In that respect, it's really a great fit. We want to distribute widely in Haiti, and of course, there's lots more places like this where we could market the device. The sun supplies enough energy to the earth in 1 hour's time to supply all the energy needs of humankind for an entire year.
Loving Shepherd Ministries continues to use the sun buckets from Illinois. By harnessing the power of the sun, they are saving money on fuel costs.
It's using these sun buckets.
Litchfield and the Sun Buckets team are carrying on their work to protect the environment, save lives, create jobs, and cook cleaner. Recently, they started testing their pioneering cooking device in refugee camps in Kenya.